Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Alright. Dang. Monster of a computer is like dinosaur. I don't know. It's like huge. That's why I'm not exactly liking this, because it's been 20 minutes since I last shut down the last recording, and I was hoping on getting onto it right that second. But this thing takes. It took me 20 minutes just to open up chapter 4, and that's how bad it is. So I just needed to click next chapter, and it didn't take me there until 20 minutes later. So time to read chapter 4. Uh, Attention floor in. Oh my gosh, I already messed up on the first word. This is good. That's just terrible. Attention employees, it is now 5 o'clock. Your shift is over for the day. See you next week. Bree stomped his hooves in satisfaction upon hearing the intercom message, and quickly cantered out of Equestria's Speedy Shipping Services headquarters. That's kind of hard to say. Once outside, he bent down and extended his wings, ready to take off. Hey, Breeze, wait up. Breeze turned to face the source of a familiar female voice. Looking up as Ditsy Doo descended, and for once, that's messed up, landed successfully. I just got back from a job, Ditsy panted. Are we done for the day? Yep, Breeze replied. Candy Floss just announced it was closing time. We're done until Monday. Oh, it's like school, we're on break right now. Whoop-de-freaking-do. And I get back in. Like, that's just terrible. Because I go back to school in 2 weeks. I'm not amused. And I just got out, like, last week, so. Anyways, back to the reading. Alright, I guess I'll head home then, Ditsy said. Well, which way are you headed? The male Pegasus asked. Towards Cloudsdale? Well, in that general direction, Ditsy replied. Come on, hey. That's not cool, bro. Not cool. The two Pegasi took to the air, quickly passing over Ponyville and crossing the countryside towards Cloudsdale. So, it's been a whole week already, Breeze observed. If you don't mind me asking, Ditsy, what did you think of your first week working at Equestria Speedy Shipping Services? Ditsy grinned. It went a lot better than I thought it would, she replied. But a week of assignments isn't enough to take away the nervousness that comes with being a matchmaker. Come on now, Breeze replied teasingly. You've been on, 4 jobs now, and you haven't even failed yet. Well, I guess it's a hard job, but just 4? You would expect her to mess up already? It was true. After Ditsy's assignment with Lyra and Bonbon, the mayor had received a few more jobs. Few means 3, right? Because that would mean that she's done 5 jobs throughout the rest of the week, completing each one with what Breeze called an unusual amount of creativity. Ditsy laughed. Yes, Breeze, but I've been getting lucky so far. There are definitely more complex jobs out there than the ones I've been getting, and now that I've been doing well, Candy Floss is probably gonna start giving me them. And I'm sure you'll find a creative way to handle those jobs, just like always, Breeze reassured her. Wait, sorry, hang on, Ditsy said, suddenly glancing around. Are we still going the right way? If you mean towards Cloudsdale, then yes, said Breeze. Ditsy caught sight of the landmark that she was looking for, which had escaped her vision for a few moments. You're right. Sorry, I get lost pretty often. It's cool, Breezy said simply. Don't worry, we're still on course. Ditsy turned to Breeze, hovering silently in the air for a moment as she stared at him. It occurs to me, Breeze, she said slowly, that you're the first pony in years that never once asked me about my eye troubles. Even when I get lost in an obvious place, like just now, you didn't speak up. That's not, I'm not complaining, but why haven't you? Breeze shrugged. You get round fine by yourself. You usually manage to overcome any obstacle in a moment or two, when you do come across them. I didn't see a need to bug you about it, he thought for a moment. It's like asking a pony with an obscure cutie mark what it means. It's not exactly impolite, but why bring it up? It's not bothering anyone, is anyone. Well, I appreciate it, Ditsy replied. It's nice to know there are actually some pony out there who wants to know me more than they want to know about my eyes. Breeze just nodded, and the two Pegasi flew in silence for a few more moments. These eyes are the reason I lost my last job, said Ditsy quietly. All my deliveries were too slow, too inaccurate, or totally lost. Sometimes I just can't tell where I'm going, or if I'm about to run into something, or even what address I'm at. My vision just wasn't good enough to keep up with the demands. Well, maybe it's a good thing you work with us now, Bree suggested. We're not big on deadlines and accuracy here. Heck, you could get lost on the way to an assignment and still make it to the client before any Earth pony. Well, except for what? I'm a Pegasus, and I can't even keep up with him. The Pegasi laughed about their unusual coworker. What? Kind of sounds like someone that'd be really good with, shipped with, Pinkie Pie. The point is, Breeze continued finally, none of us, except maybe Glow, are going to judge you just because you're different. We work to bring happiness for lonely ponies. I think most of us are better because of it. For the sake of our jobs, we need to understand and empathize with those around us. Yeah, I guess so, Ditzy answered thoughtfully. And if there was one good thing I was good at, oh my goodness, that's so hard to say. If there was one thing that I was good at while I was a mail mare, it was making friends with the ponies on my mail route. See, Breeze replied, you're made for this job. All it takes is a determined and personable pony with a little intellect and creativity to be a successful shipper. You've got all those qualities in excess anyways. I... Thanks, Ditzy stuttered, turning away and blushing a little at the praise. She glanced down and noticed her cottage coming in the distance. All right, Breeze, she said. See you later. This is my stop. Where? Breeze looked all around in confusion. I don't see any houses up here. Well, that's because I live down there, the mayor replied, pointing at the small building. Oh, I didn't realize that you lived on the ground. Why don't you live in a cloud house near Cloudsdale? I did when I was younger, Ditzy answered, but my husband was a unicorn, so I had to move down here to be with him. I would have moved back up after he passed away, but my daughter is a unicorn too. Is she? Breeze said with interest. I don't think you told me that. Say, said Ditzy suddenly, would you like to come and visit for a minute or two? You could meet Dinky. I'd love to. Lead the way. The two Pegasi descended to ground level. Ditzy landed on the wide, bare hill that she had purposely kept clear of the trees and shrubs to provide herself with a little landing pad. Even she couldn't miss. She lightly touched down and trotted toward the cottage, Breeze following along behind her. One more thing. I missed that old Jackie Chan show. Ditzy said, Dinky doesn't know that I've been fired from my old job yet, so try not to bring up work, okay? Gotcha, Breeze said with a wink. Ditzy pushed open the front door and was greeted with a squeal of delight as her filly leapt up from the couch and ran to her. Dinky jumped up and hugged her mother tightly. Ditzy returned the hug, smiling warmly at her daughter. Hiya, Dinky, Ditzy said. How was school today? It was great, Dinky replied excitedly. Miss Charlie taught us all about... The little unicorn stopped mid-sentence when she spotted the red Pegasus standing in the doorway behind her mother. Mommy, who's that? Dinky, this is Breeze, Ditzy said. He's a friend of mine from work, and he stopped by to visit today on his way home. Dinky trotted over to Breeze and smiled. Hello, Mr. Breeze, she said sweetly. Mommy doesn't bring friends from work to visit very often. Are you staying for dinner with us? Breeze laughed. No, I just dropped by to say hello. I don't live very far away, and your mom and I got off work at the same time today, so I decided I would come and visit. You know, Dinky, Ditzy cut in, maybe we can have Breeze over for dinner another time, though. We'll plan it in advance, and I'll have time to make something special. Dinky beamed. Can we do it soon, Mommy? Aww. I love it when we have guests for dinner. Aww. So adorable. Sure we can, Ditzy replied. That is, if you're interested, she added, turning to Breeze questioningly. I'd love to, Breeze answered. Just let me know at work, and I'll come over for the evening." "Of course, we'd be happy to have you." "Speaking of dinner," said Dizzy, "I should probably go get some now myself. I'll see you at I'll see you on Monday, Ditsy." "Bye, Breeze." The mare and her filly called as Breeze took to the air again. The male Pegasus waved, before turning and rocketing off towards Cloudsdale. We should eat dinner too," Ditsy said to her daughter. "If you eat all the alfalfa, I can't even say it, like a good little filly, I'll bake you some muffins for dessert." "Muffins! Yay!" the little unicorn chirped in excitement. The two ponies trotted back into the cottage for the night. And normally, right now, I'd cut the video, but because of that 15-minute time limit lift, I can go as long as I want. The weekend passed quickly, as weekends often do, and before Ditsy knew it, it was Monday morning again. The Pegasus slowly opened her eyes and glanced at the clock on the bedside table. "Oh no, I'm gonna be late." As quickly as she could, Ditsy washed up and brushed her mane, and then hurtled out of the door as fast as her wings could carry her. 10 minutes later, she barged through the door of Speedy Shipping Services and collapsed on the floor in the lobby, panting hard. She was only there for a few moments when the intercom crackled to life. "Miss Ditsy-Doo, I have an assignment for you. Please report to my office." "Looks like I made it just in time," Ditsy thought, staggering to her feet and down the hall. She tapped on Candy Floss's door before letting herself in and falling into the chair. "Good morning, Miss Ditsy," the unicorn said. "Today, I'd like you to—" He paused, noticing the Pegasus disheveled. Is that how you say it, disheveled or disheveled? I'd just say disheveled. Mane, and fact that she was still panting. "Goodness, are you alright?" "Fine, I was just a little late, so I was hurrying to get here. I'm sorry." "Don't let it worry you. Tardiness now and again is entirely excusable." He turned his attention to the papers on the desk. "Now, I just received a call about a potential job I'd like you to handle. Apparently, you will find your client at the north end of Ponyville outdoor marketplace at the carrot vendor." "The carrot vendor?" Ditsy asked. "Well, that's probably Carrot Top. She's a good friend of mine." "Splendid," said Candy Floss with a calm smile. "Good luck with your assignment, as always." "Thank you, sir," Ditsy replied excitedly as she galloped out of the door. Carrot Top breathed deeply, enjoying the fresh smell of morning air. The brightly colored earth pony had just finished setting up her stand, and now she waited patiently for any customers willing to buy her homegrown carrots. The market was not very busy at this hour, but Carrot Top was content to just enjoy the early morning peace. Nothing could break her serenity today. "Hey, Carrot Top!" Instantly, Carrot Top's pupils dilated in panic. Her body tensed as she turned towards the sky, catching sight of the shape plummeting towards her. With a cry of terror, the earth pony dove under her carrot cart, covering her head with her hooves and cowering in fear. She caught sight of 4 legs belonging to a certain gray Pegasus, appearing next to the carrot cart. And a moment later, a pair of misaligned yellow eyes peered into the crawl space. What are you doing, Carrot Top?" Ditsy asked. Carrot Top crawled from under the cart. Just taking precautions," she replied awkwardly. "I mean, your landings here are usually a little destructive." "You're still mad about last month, aren't you?" Ditsy questioned. Carrot Top twitched at the horrific memory. "I still have nightmares." "Oh, that's kind of, sad." "Can't you try to crash into a cart that sells something less dangerous next time? I mean, that one with the big cleaver landed at least an inch from my neck." "No, it wasn't that bad," said Ditsy dismissively, waving away Carrot Top's complaint. "Anyway, I wanted to ask you—" "No!" Carrot Top cried suddenly. "You can't borrow any more money or food." "It's not that," Ditsy answered. "In fact, here." She reached into her saddlebag and extracted the 50 bits Carrot Top had loaned her. The earth pony accepted the money incredulously. You're paying me back?" she asked skeptically. "The eternally pressed for funds Ditsy-Doo is paying me back?" "I'm actually not too bad in terms of money right now," Ditsy said, eliciting another shocked look from the other mare. "I wasn't coming to ask you about money. I was coming to ask you if you contacted the Equestria Speeding Shipping Services today. There has to be some sort of acronym for that, because I'm getting tired of saying that. Have you? Carrot Top's look of surprise was even more extreme this time. You, she stuttered weakly. You work for... Carrot Top couldn't finish her sentence. She wobbled dangerously, and Ditzy moved to support her so she wouldn't collapse. I'm sorry, the woozy mare mumbled, running her forehoof nervously through her bright orange mane. It's just one surprise after another. You didn't destroy anything when you landed. You paid me back in full, and now you happen to work for Equestria's... there it is again. ESSS. That's ESSS. That's what I'm going to call it now because I'm getting tired of saying it. Who are you, and what have you done with Ditzy do? Ditzy grinned. Maybe I'm just getting my act together, she replied. Now tell me, you called for a shipper. Do you have your eye on some pony? Well, yes, Ditzy admitted. I've been in the fruit and vegetable business for a long time, and I'm thinking I'm falling for a certain business competitor. Which one? Ditzy said curiously, glancing around the supermarket in an attempt to predict the object of Carrot's affections. It's, Applejack. No comment. I mean, not that I don't like Applejack, but I kind of saw it coming. Carrot Top responded, blushing slightly. Applejack, Ditzy repeated, but Carrot Top, our services are for discreetly matching up ponies, so that it seems that like it happened by chance. But you and Applejack are totally friendly in accepting ponies, and she's very straightforward. I'm sure if you just went up to her and told you how you feel, she would probably give you a chance. Using the sneaky setup method just seems like it would overcomplicate things when dealing with her. That makes sense, Carrot Top replied. If I were another pony, if I were by another name, I would take the advice in a heartbeat. However, there's another problem stopping me from doing that. Another problem? What kind of problem? Carrot Top sighed. It's the silly Ponyville produce feud. The Apple and the Carrot families have been rivals for 3 generations since we both sell produce in Ponyville. Apparently, Applejack's grandfather and my grandmother got in some sort of argument about whose produce was better, and ever since then, the Apple and the Carrot families have been bitter enemies. Well, family feuds can never end well. If you've ever read The Interlopers, that kind of ended sad. Ditzy scrunched up her nose in thought. But if the Apple and Carrot families hate each other, why don't you hate Applejack? Because I'm not really part of the feud myself, Carrot Top answered. I only grow a few carrots in my personal garden. Most of the ones I sell here come from the carrot farm that my cousins run. All I do is sell them. My cousins are the one who keep the feud going with selling. She's got plenty of reasons to turn her nose at the mention of anyone in the carrot factory. In the carrot family. But don't you think you just tell Applejack you don't want to part in the feud? She'll believe you, Ditzy asked. Look, Applejack is loyal to her family to the point that she can be described as just plain stubborn, Carrot Top said. She grew up hearing nothing but bad things about the Carrot family. Most of it probably lies from her grandmother and her older brother. And I've heard it isn't easy to change Applejack's opinions once she has had her mind set to something. Carrot Top turned to Ditzy imploringly. I really respect Applejack, and I'd like to get to know her better and find out if she returns my interests. That's impossible as long as the feud between our families still stands, and that's what I need you to do something about. Once Applejack doesn't hate me, I'll try to make her like me. You don't make people like you. That goes beyond the laws of love. Of true love. Ditzy placed a hoof on her chin, pondering the situation. Well, I can probably work something out, she mused. Now about the price. This is kind of thing is expensive, isn't it? Normal jobs go from 1 to 200 bits, Ditzy replied. And any feud that spans several generations probably qualifies for an extra cost. Ditzy's getting greedy. Fine, I'll give you 250 bits, 50 extra bits. But only if you put this stupid feud to rest once and for all. Well, right then, Ditzy said. Operation End the produce feud is now underway. Oh my gosh, this screen's making me trip out, dude. The Pegasus spread her wings haphazardly, knocking a few loose carrots from the Earth Pony stand. "I'll be back later," she announced before launching herself into the air. Carrot Top watched the goofy Pegasus flutter out of sight. "Dear Celestia," she whispered, "I just left a delicate diplomatic operation in the hooves of Ditsy Doo. When this is all over, I'll be lucky if our little family rivalry hasn't escalated into an Equestria-wide war." The concerned mare just sighed and bent down to pick up her scattered carrots. The sun shined brightly on sweet apple acres, and a certain farm pony reveled in the morning air. Applejack grunted in satisfaction as she watched another barrel full of apples fall from the trees, somehow all landing neatly in the container as usual. But her satisfied smile turned to a frown when she noticed one lone fruit still dangling from a branch. The Earth Pony bucked the tree hard again, but the stubborn little apple remained in place. Snorting, Applejack planted her front hooves firmly and bucked the tree again and again with all her strength. Panicked, she turned to check if she had succeeded, but the apple still hung there, taunting her. "Consarn it!" the Earth Pony cried. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna attempt the Applejack thing again. "Consarn it!" the Earth Pony cried. "What's it gonna take you to get down from that tree?" Out of nowhere, a certain wayward Pegasus pitched sideways in midair, snapping the branch and its offending apple from the tree before crashing into the ground and leaving a sizable skid mark. Skid mark? "That's one way to do it, I suppose," Applejack chuckled. "You alright there, Sugar Cube?" "I think so." Ditsy found it hard to speak, considering the entire stubborn apple had wound up rammed into her mouth upon landing. She pulled the fruit out of her mouth. "Do you want this back?" Applejack cringed. "Y'all can keep that one. It's on the house." Oh man, that house. The way I said house is not the way you're supposed to say house. Ditsy shrugged and bit into the apple. "So," Applejack started awkwardly, watching the oblivious Pegasus enjoy her treat. "Any particular reason y'all dropped by?" Oh yeah. "Oh yeah," said Ditsy, finally regaining the train of thought that had been derailed in her crash landing. "I wanted to buy some apples, but you weren't at the market today, so I came here." Applejack brightened. "Why didn't you just say so, Sugar Cube? Come on over to the farmhouse and I'll get you a bushel or two." The two ponies trotted down through the hills toward Applejack's place of residence. "If you don't mind me asking," Applejack began. Oh, I'm not gonna go back for that one. "What do y'all need apples for? Gonna bake some sort of famous apple cinnamon muffins of yours?" Apple cinnamon muffins. Sounds pretty okay, I guess. I don't know. I don't like cinnamon too much. "Yeah," Ditsy said. "I'm making a bunch of different muffins, actually. Why, just this morning I was at the market getting some fresh carrots from Carrot Top and I..." Ditsy stopped in mid-sentence. Everyone stops in mid-sentences in this fanfiction. When she noticed Applejack had stopped walking, she turned to the Earth Pony curiously. "Let me give you a bit of advice. I can't even do it. Let me give you a bit of advice." Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. I can't do this accent because it's just too hard. "Ain't nothing good comes from associating from the Carrot Top, or any of the other carrot family for that matter. Best you all just stick with the apples when you can." "There's nothing wrong with Carrot Top," said Ditsy defensively, realizing that her client's fears concerning Applejack's disposition were surprisingly accurate. "The Carrot family," said Applejack with a scowl, "are a bunch of no-good, cheating, lazy, stuck-up, mean-spirited..." Her chain of adjectives continued on for a moment, with longer gaps between each one. "I plumb went and forgot my point." Applejack did that. Oh, face hoof. That's a face hoof right there. "Point is, them carrot ponies are bad news." The mares had arrived at the farmhouse. Applejack opened the door and retrieved a bushel of apples in the sack. "There's your apples," she said icily. "Y'all run along now." She moved to close the door. "Wait!" Ditsy cried. "At least tell me why you don't like the Carrot family." Applejack's mood seemed to drop lower each time the name was mentioned. "Look here. Here. I can't even. Look here," she said through clenched teeth. "The Carrot family has been trying to steal our business since my old Granny Smith was just a filly. They make for lots of produce and easy sales by growing acres of cheap, low-quality carrots, undermining the true hard work we put in Sweet Apple Acres. Now, I don't want to talk about them no more, so you just mosey on along now." Applejack closed the door, leaving Ditsy on the doorstep. "Well, shoot," Ditsy mumbled. "I know that Carrot Top at the very least isn't any of those things, but how do I make Applejack believe that?" "Well, I believe," said a small voice. Oh, sorry. "Well, I believe you said, oh, no. Vince, this is your time to shine." Ditsy looked around the spotted a yellow filly peering around the corner of the farmhouse. "Sorry for eavesdropping," the filly continued. "My name's Applebloom. Applejack is my big sis." "Hello, Applebloom," said Ditsy pleasantly. "Did you say you believe me?" "I did. I don't think Miss Carrot Top is trouble. But let's talk about it somewhere else. I don't want my big sister over here." "Yeah, 'cause you might get hit just like Jack Blackwood hit you." "I don't believe a thing about the whole feud," said Applebloom. "I expect that Carrot's family is a real nice one, hard-working ponies like the Apple family. And she has an accent too, but I'm not gonna read it like that. And I tried one of Miss Carrot Top's tarts at the market once, and I thought it was delicious." "Carrot Top is a friend of mine," said Ditsy, "and she doesn't want this feud to go on any longer. I want it to end, but I need to find a way to convince your sister. I wish I could help, but bringing diplomacy ain't my special talent." Suddenly, the Earth filly's head showed up. Her eyes went wide as an idea formed. "Or maybe it is my special talent." Oh man, they're Cutie Mark Crusaders. Much to Ditsy's surprise, Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo appeared like Michael Jackson coming out of that Thriller. Seemingly out of nowhere, like Michael Jackson. "Did I hear our names just now? Wow." "Yeah," cried Applebloom excitedly. "Girls, today we're trying something new. We're gonna end the feud between the Apple and Carrot families. And if we can make every pony friendly with each other again, we'll be getting our cutie marks for sure. Cutie Mark Crusader diplomats. Cutie Mark Crusader lawyers. Yeah, yeah." The fillies cried. "Whoa, wait." Ditsy quickly. Wait. Oh man, I lost my place. Da-na-na-na, yay, na-na, whoa. Okay. "Well, wait," said Ditsy quickly, feeling a growing sense of dread at the situation. "I'm not sure you three should meet us at our clubhouse, Miss Ditsy," Applebloom said. "We'll be formulating our plans." The Cutie Mark Crusaders took off in the trees, leaving Ditsy standing alone. Ditsy was finally able to. They never told her where to go. Ditsy was finally able to locate the clubhouse by the sound of the Crusaders' excited squeals. At last, tired and covered in grime from her wandering through Sweet Apple Acres, she trudged up the ramp into the pastel-colored building. "There you are," Applebloom said as Ditsy entered the small room. "What took you so long? We already came up with a bunch of ideas." "Yeah," Sweetie Belle chimed in. "Then again, some of them may not work if we can't find a mariachi band." Oh my god. Ditsy said, trying to get her best to ignore Sweetie's unusual comment. Maybe we just need to demonstrate to Applejack that Karen isn't that bad." "But how do we do that?" Scootaloo asked. "That's what I've been trying to figure out all day," Ditsy moaned, "but I still haven't had any. Wait, I just had a crazy idea." Struck by sudden, somewhat bizarre inspiration, the Pegasus beckoned for the others to lean in close and explained her secret plan in a whisper. When she finished, the Crusaders were grinning ear to ear. "That could actually work," Applebloom said with excitement. "Let's do it." The Crusaders and their Pegasus friends sped out of the treehouse to enact their plans. An hour or so later, Carrot Top watched from a distance as Applejack arrived at the market, pulling a large cart full of apples behind her. She set up her merchandise in the baskets at her stand. Ditsy Doo was nowhere in sight, and Carrot Top began to wonder if the absent-minded mare, had completely forgotten about her assignment. Psst, Carrot Top. Oh, geez, that was a long reading right there. I'm not done yet, but gotta take like a second to take some water. Okay, I'm back. Carrot Top turned around and suddenly found herself nose to nose with Ditsy. "I'm working on your request," Ditsy said quietly. "In a few minutes, 2 fillies are going to come by and ask you to help you sow carrots. It's all part of our setup. Just play along." Okay, Carrot Top stuttered, watching Ditsy disappear into the alleyway again. Ditsy must be good at being like a ninja, 'cause she's like hiding everywhere. Sure enough, the mare soon spotted Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo wandering towards her stand. Carrot Top was still unsure if it was smart to play along with any plan that involved Ditsy Doo. I don't think that Carrot Top believes that Ditsy Doo is her friend. But then again, I wouldn't let a non-friend, well, I'd pretty much let anybody borrow money from me as long as they give me something in return. It's how the familia works. Decided to give the gray mare the benefit of the doubt, more out of curiosity than anything else. "Hi," said Sweetie Belle cheerfully. That did not sound like Sweetie Belle. As she and Scootaloo arrived at the carrot stand. "Miss Carrot Top, do you think we can help you run the stand today? We're trying to earn our, mercenary cutie marks." Scootaloo laughed nervously and gave Sweetie Belle a nudge. "She means merchant, not mercenary." Oh man. Is the orange Pegasus corrected? "Now, who's the dictionary?" "What?" Sweetie Belle responded with a mischievous grin, eliciting a stare from Scootaloo. "I don't understand what that means, but on to the next paragraph." Carrot Top tried to laugh, but her giggle came out as more of a nervous more nervous than Scootaloo. "Sure, I guess there's no harm in letting you help with my stand." Yay, the fillies cheered, darting behind the cart to help with their new temporary employer. The next few minutes went well. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo actually did what Carrot Top told her to do, much to her relief, but the mare still couldn't understand how these new junior helpers would lead her to end the feud with the Apple family. Ditsy, on the other hoof, knew exactly what to do next. "Okay, Apple Bloom," she whispered to the filly hiding in the shadows with her. "You know what to do." Apple Bloom nodded and proceeded to wander as nonchalantly as possible towards the wide plaza. "Hey, Apple Bloom," Scootaloo called from the carrot stand, doing an excellent job of pretending that she hadn't expected her friend there. "Wanna buy a carrot?" I don't know," said Apple Bloom. "My big sis isn't real fond of the carrots. I'm not sure I should." "Oh, come now," Scootaloo coaxed. "Just one couldn't hurt." "Alright, fine," Apple Bloom responded. She handed a few bits to Scootaloo, who in turn gave them to Carrot Top, and Sweetie Belle tossed a carrot to Apple Bloom in return. Apple Bloom bit into the vegetable, and her eyes lit up in surprise. "Why, that's delicious," she complimented. "Why, thank you," said Carrot Top, shocked at she had received praise from any member of the carrot family. Yeah, that makes so much sense. From any member of the Apple family. Perhaps Ditsy had been up to something useful today after all. Continuing with the plan, Apple Bloom wandered across the market, coming to linger near her sister's apple stand and taking care to keep the carrot she was eating in plain view. It only took a few seconds for the desired effect to occur. "Apple Bloom!" The filly turned to look at her angry sister, the carrot still dangling from her mouth. "It's like a cigar." "Yes, sister?" God, my voice cracked really bad there. It's all this talking. It's making my throat burn because I'm still not exactly over my sickness. "Are you eating a carrot?" asked Applejack, indignation clearly recognizable in her voice. "Yeah, just one once in a while can't hurt, right?" "Wrong," said Applejack. "What are you thinking buying from the carrot family? Do you know that we're competing against them? If we want enough money to keep running the farm, we gotta get more sales than them. Now spit that dang thing out, not throw in the compost heap. It's kind of messed up. Apple Bloom reluctantly parted with her half-eaten carrot, and then trotted off the peripheral street surrounding the market once again. It didn't work, she called once she located Ditzy. I know, Ditzy called back. I guess it's time for the next phase. Couldn't give the warning signal to Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo. Apple Bloom cantered off once again, leaving Ditzy alone. This is going to be really risky, Ditzy thought to herself. Even if this goes exactly as planned, it's going to be a mess. If anything goes wrong... Oh, wait, I gotta adjust my mic again. If anything goes wrong, not only will I fail the mission, but I'll lose any fragment of trust Carrot Top still has in me. See, she's aware of this one-sided relationship too, but she's not gonna admit it. The mare gulped nervously and descended to sit on the roof overlooking the market. Once perched there, she took a pen, a piece of paper, and a protractor from her saddlebags. That's weird. I didn't expect a protractor. A few simple physics calculations later. Simple physics calculations. Ditzy has the mind of Albert Einstein in pony form. I don't know how to make a pony joke out of that. Albert Einstein? I don't know. I tried really hard. Ditzy took off in the air, flying high above Ponyville. She stared down, struggling to focus her poor vision into the tiny rectangle that was the carrot cart. I need to do this with absolute precision, and still make it look like an accident, she thought to herself. Here goes nothing. It's like you go through all those calculations, you'd be like, at the last second, just be like, I don't care, let's just do this. The mare folded her wings and dove downward with incredible speed. The speedy market. The small market quickly grew much larger as Ditzy raced towards the ground. Mayday! Mayday! Ditzy cried, pretending she was out of control once again. We're going down! We're going down! Carrot Top didn't even have time to prepare herself. She could only watch in horror as the destruction unfolded. There was a resounding crash as the plummeting Pegasus crashed into the carrot cart like a meteor, sending the entire wooden structure hurtling in the air. All the eyes on the market took immediate notice as the sand flew through the air, did a somersault, and tried to pull on top of his friend, raining loose carrots down on the merchant sharpers. And if you don't know where I get that did a somersault thing, you should watch the Ultimate Battle of Ultimate Destiny. Just type it up. Yeah, just type it up. I don't care. Just look at the time. It's like 37:50 or something like that. And remember that, and go watch that video because it's pretty badass. Applejack cried out and jumped backwards just in time as the flying vendor crashed into the apple stand, utterly obliterating them both, and leaving a chaotic pile of apples, carrots, tattered fabric, and splintered wood. After a moment, the noise ended and the dust settled. Ditzy managed to yank herself out of the 10-foot skid mark that had left her in the dirt, to find all her eyes and the market staring at her. Hey, sorry, every pony, Ditzy said apologetically. After a few moments of awkward silence, most of the stands that weren't affected by the crash turned to their daily business. I think if I was one of those people, I'd like help. Ditzy looked behind her to where Carrot Top was once standing. The mare hadn't moved. The mare hadn't moved an inch since the moment Ditzy collided with the cart. She simply stood unblinking, mouth agape, staring into space in the direction she had been looking when her cart was decimated. Ditzy trotted over to see if she was okay. Carrot Top, hello? Ditzy waved her hoof in front of the other mare's face, eliciting no response whatsoever. You just crushed her hopes and dreams, Ditzy. I hope you were happy. I'm just kidding. Ditzy wondered what to do next when she heard footsteps behind her. Carrot. Oh, gosh. Why do I start with the second word? I blame dyslexia. Alright, Carrot Top, came an accented voice. We need to talk. Applejack's arrival managed to snap Carrot Top out of her shocked paralysis. She turned to find the orange earth pony glowering, same thing. Yes, Applejack, she said weakly. Look, I don't like you, and you don't like me. but we gotta clean up this mess. Carrot finally seemed to become aware of what had happened. That's not necessarily true. If you don't like me, no, she does like you a lot. Oh yes, we should. The two mares trotted over to the pile of rubber that was all that remained of their two stands. Ditzy followed along at a distance. Sheesh, Applejack said, looking over at the mess again. It's gonna take all day to separate all this. Guess we're done. We're both done selling for the day today. But you can't be done already. The mares turned to see the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Miss Carrot Top hired us as apprentices today, but we hardly got anything to do. Sorry, girls, but we can't exactly keep working like this. Sure we can, Apple Bloom piped up. We just need to set up an apple and carrot stand for today. That way I can work with you, Sis, and Sooty Belle and Scootaloo at the same time. Oh no, Applejack said with a warning tone. There ain't no way I'm working with a carrot pony. At this moment, Carrot Top finally made the connection. She understood the meaning behind Ditzy's actions, and knew that the next move was hers. Now, Applejack, Carrot said, keeping her tone as businesslike as possible. I know we have our differences, but don't you think it would be the best monetary interest for both of us, to form an alliance, only because of the current circumstances, of course? Yeah, right. You'll probably sabotage my merchandise, or steal my share of the profit, or... No, she won't, Sis, Apple Bloom interrupted. Me and the girls will keep an eye on both of you, make sure that no pony's cheating no pony. Yeah, Scootaloo agreed. When a pony comes asking for an apple, sell them an apple. If they want a carrot, sell them a carrot. No arguing, no persuasions, no tricks, just fruits and vegetables. And just fruit. Oh my gosh, I just had a weird thought about that phrase. Just fruit and vegetables. But then I was like, just fruit and vegetable, like no S. Applejack looked defeated. Well, alright, she said finally. But if I catch you stepping out of line even once, Carrot Top, I swear I'm gonna... No need for threats now, said Carrot Top. You have my word. We do completely honest business, and that's that. The two ponies overturned the car Applejack had been used to carry her apples to the market, and used it as a makeshift display stand, and the Crusaders assumed their guard positions. The two ponies begrudgingly in Applejack's case, and much less so in the Carrot Top's, began to sell the produce again. The sun was setting. It had been a long and busy day at Ponyville Market. News of Ditzy's crash had brought a large number of curious ponies to the market that afternoon, most of which had wound up purchasing apples, carrots, or both. Both Applejack and Carrot Top made a bigger daily profit than either of them had in a long time. Well, I'll be, Applejack commented when it finally came time to pack up for the day. A whole day, and not one trick from a carrot pony. I told you I've never done dishonest business, Carrot Top replied. Heck, I don't even want to be part of this crazy feud between our families. I'll admit apples are just as important as carrots. If you had said that to me yesterday, I'd laughed in your face and accused you of treachery. But after how well everything went today, I'm starting to think that you might be telling the truth. I am, Carrot Top insisted. This feud is way too old for me or you. It was probably fought over something stupid in the first place. Don't you think we could just end it and behave like decent ponies? Applejack was quiet for a long moment. Well, she said finally, if you tell them cousins of yours to stop, then I'll let the rest of the Apple family know. It's a deal, Carrot Top said. She held out her hoof. Truce. Applejack took her hoof and shook it firmly. Truce. The two ponies finished loading the unsold produce into their bags. It's crazy, Applejack commented. If that goofy Pegasus hadn't caused all this damage, we'd still be bitter enemies right now. Carrot Top, who had slowly been processing that very fact all day long, said nothing. Applejack, Carrot Top said finally, now that we're friends and all, how about we get some dinner and talk about our alliance? Maybe a business partnership. Ho 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 ho. Might not be a bad idea, Applejack commented, rubbing her chin in a thought. I'll meet you in the restaurant on Main Street after I drop the apples off at home. See you then, Carrot Top responded, before the pennies went on their separate ways. No sooner had Carrot Top left the market when they spotted a familiar shape dropping out of the sky once again. She ducked for cover, but Ditzy alighted easily this time. Well, Ditzy asked, what did you think? Carrot Top gave Ditzy an inscrutable look. Ditzy couldn't tell if she was about to be praised or yelled at. Ditzy, Carrot Top said, you, 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 you're a genius. You're positively and undeniably insane. But you're a genius, literally. You freaking used the projector like a boss. I can live like that, Ditzy chuckled. Can you take it from here? I have more or less a dinner date with Applejack, Carrot Top replied. We might wind up going to business together, and I'm sure if we do that, a relationship can easily bloom from that. Great, the Pegasus replied. Not 200 bits, please. I thought I owed you 250, Carrot Top answered in confusion. Yeah, but I destroyed your stand, so at least I can offer you a discount. Carrot Top smiled. You're crazy, you know that? And you even got those fillies in your game. Ditzy shrugged. Hey, whatever works. Carrot Top handed over the money to Ditzy. Right then, the gray mare announced. See you around, Carrot Top. Wait, the yellow mare said quickly as Ditzy spread her wings. Yes. Carrot Top grinned darkly. Remind me never to ask you for help again. The two friends laughed loudly as Ditzy took to the skies, sailing home by the light of the setting sun. No, I'm serious, Carrot Top muttered under her breath. End of chapter 4. And it's getting pretty sleepy, so 46 minutes and something seconds. You can end now if you don't want to, like, give it. So I guess the next thing is gonna be like, what you want to read. What do you want me to read? I'll probably take like anything, but that would be a special video. I think the only thing I'm not down to read, and I don't want anybody to read if you're still listening to this, don't ever, I'm warning you. If you see something called, or you hear, or you find it on YouTube, I think it's already here, but I heard it on Sonic Mario, but that's not the point. If you find something called The Experiments of Twilight Sparkle, just don't read it. You will be scarred for life. You will want to unhear that terrible story. I mean, it's not like badly written per se, but it's just like cupcakes, but Twilight is Pinkie Pie, and Rainbow Dash is, it's like, and then Twilight is Rainbow Dash from that factory. I just got another like thing that, you know how I'm pretty sure I haven't found anything for Applejack when she's like the killer. Only her brother and Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, because she did patty cakes, even though that wasn't really a killer. More like a more disturbing story than anything. Pinkie Pie, Twilight, Rainbow Dash, Rarity. I think Rarity has one. Like she makes a dress out of someone else's stuff. But I don't think I haven't heard one from Applejack, and if you have heard one, I kind of want to read it. I'll probably read it for you guys. But what I was thinking is, because I was reading this entire thing, and when she said like spit that out and make it into fertilizer, I was thinking that was gonna be like the Applejack thing, like she'd like kill the person then use them as fertilizer, but that's kind of far-fetched. But so is cupcakes and patty cakes. Well, patty cakes isn't that far-fetched because I kind of would imagine. Sorry. Kind of could imagine Fluttershy doing that. Well, alright, have a good day, morning, afternoon, midnight, I don't know.